Good evening, everyone. Welcome to PWR Interactive, along with the man they call Meathead, the man they call...
I'm Classic
Damian
Meathead
Nelson.
now. Meathead Classic.
Yeah, Classic, so you're going to like Pac-Man stuff?
I didn't hear you say my name.
That was a Chavo
The
reference.
man they call Damian Nelson.
Or
Thank you very
Meathead
much. Thank you very much.
PWR Active
Meathead.
is Interact because you make the show possible through your emails, through all your visits on the forum, all of your information. It's all about you. That's why we do the show. Correct? Correct? Correct. But...
Yeah, and Frank was swinging his around earlier.
Speaking of swinging them around, it just came from a note here in the PWR notebook. New Year's Revolution fallout. Life, sex, promised by Edge.
it didn't happen.
It was close,
It was
though.
close, though.
And she was looking good in that bed, too.
How you been all week, Frank? What'd you do? Did you do anything fun and exciting last week?
No. Unfortunately, the weather didn't cooperate with what I
Were you a victim of the hellacious blizzard that blew through Milwaukee, Wisconsin last week? That wasn't?
Well,
North of Milwaukee it was.
North Milwaukee, they got 18 inches up there.
They don't have TVs. It doesn't matter.
That's all right.
North of Milwaukee, I was giving everybody 18 inches. Hey, now.
Anyway, we're going to read...
How many times did it take? 4.
Do the math on that one.
Frank, grab the reins.
All right. This email is from someone, and we're going to read it anyway.
Name and where you're from.
Always helps.
Critical.
PWR rules. Quite frankly, that's it. I recently was browsing the net and came across PWR and have been hooked since the show is awesome. It's simple and very understandable for a real wrestling fan. It's a shame wrestling is the way it is with so-called wrestlers such as Batista and Cena, who is improving.
Okay.
The champions, what has happened to the noble art? Although I could read the rest of this, but
That's up to you. You're in charge.
although they may get people in the seats, sometimes it cheapens the sport. Quite frankly,
David Arquette.
Quite frankly, in the 80s are over. WWE should acknowledge the fact that the Hogan Cena and the Dingo Sorry Ultimate Warrior Batista are no longer needed or wanted. It's time for the Shelton Benjamins, Carlitos, who is much better as a heel, Kennedys, and more to rise, and the sooner the better. What do you think of his comments? Or her comments? Could be anybody.
The one thing that is very interesting when we go through these dozens upon dozens of emails that we get each week is the passion that a lot of you have against or for certain things. And the thing that's missing sometimes is the respect for other fans and what they like and may want to see. Batista, John Cena, Ultimate Warrior, whatever, may not be for certain fans, but it's paying the bills for WWE right now. Those are the people want to see. And I would venture to say that a lot of the smarter wrestling fans, which are those of you who watch this program in general, can see right through the transparency that is some of those athletes and understand why some of these emails come through. But, some people like it. There's somebody for everybody, as they say, even Meathead.
Meathead Classic. Thanks.
What had happened was last week on Pro Wrestling Report, this one, thought he was clever and said that you were Meathead and he was going to be Meathead Classic. So
Don't you remember when there was Chavo and Chavo Classic?
Chavo.
And Chavo is his name-o.
Are you going to
Good, next. Go.
donkey and put it
Go.
in the thing? And
Go.
Patrick Dotson. Right. My name is Patrick Dotson.
Is that the same guy that used to be the pitching coach for the Brewers?
Andrew. Was it Andrew?
No, it was Pat Dobson.
This is Dotson.
Oh, okay.
And he's from Falls Church, Virginia. I hear that test from WWE just got fired. If I was him, I would be so pissed off that I would sign with TNA. And as far as the mic and speak my mind about WWE and ECW, what do you guys think?
Meathead speculated about that on the Pro Wrestling Report Weekly show, and I don't think it's an automatic play that people who get released or release themselves from WWE are going to go to TNA.
And not a right-away thing either. I don't think it's because I believe, and this is just my belief, I'm not 100% on this, but WWE has a no-compete for X amount of days.
It depends on your contract.
For X amount of days. Depends. It always depends. The word is...
Kurt Angle should have had
I'm
one.
sure there
Vince
is
Russo should have had
in
one.
contracts now. at a minimum of 30 days. It could be longer, depending on how much money. Hey, there's an extra $5,000, but you can't move. For 60
Well,
days.
look at Brock Lesnar. He's got 10 years, basically, and there was a settlement that we don't know the details of that was made that might have modified that a little, but, each deal's different.
McMahon and the organization is smart, especially if they have someone that they want to sign for a long period of time, and that contract runs out for whatever reason. I'm sure there's at least a year or so, depending on.
Yeah, lock them up.
Lock them up. Freddie from across the pond in England writes, I can't believe Shelton Benjamin is not in the Money in the Bank match.
Testify!
I believe he should be, and it should have been this
Hallelujah!
year, his year. With Jeff Hardy being in it, then
win it.
where does it leave Matt Hardy for WrestleMania?
He's going to be wrestling Joy Mercury with the mask off. Mercury with the top off.
Is that a sunroof then?
It's a moonroof. What's the difference between a sunroof and a moonroof? It's not a bad joke. I don't know the answer to it.
Punchline here.
Some
Wait.
cars have
Meathead,
sunroofs, some have
leave
moonroofs.
the comedy, took Meathead
The
classic.
driveway parkway kind of thing, parking a parkway, driving or whatever.
What do you call a movie theater when you go and pull up in your car and watch it on the screen outside? What do you call that?
That's called a drive-in.
The drive-in. What do you call it?
We could drive in.
The drive-in. What about the outdoor? Some people refer to it as the outdoor.
Though not
in Milwaukee, they used to, South Milwaukee, they had the 41 outdoor.
right.
Remember that?
Yeah, until the guy decided he needed insurance money and it burned to the ground.
Right.
That's a speculation here being made by Meathead.
Well, ironically, it was closing that year, and the hospital was going up the next year.
We may have a phone call.
Well, then maybe we should answer it.
I don't know how to use the phone system here.
Oh my
You
God!
did it last time.
No,
It's
I,
yours.
are you ready? You're on live with Damien, Frank, and the Meat. Go,
I believe this button helps.
Damien, Frank, and the Meat. Go.
Hi, is this the PWR show?
Yes.
Sure
Name and
is.
where you're from.
Hi, my name's Joe. I'm calling from Wrigley, Idaho.
Okay.
Wrigley,
Yes!
Idaho.
Is that near Boise?
No, it's on the other side of the state.
Oh, okay.
Frank only knows about potatoes and Boise.
What's the population of Wrigley?
Maybe 1,000 people.
Excellent.
Small town here.
Cool. All right.
Whoa, what's on your mind?
I got a question for you guys about ECW. I think the reason people keep on bringing it up is because they're so disappointed at what Vince is doing to it, and they so much want it to be as good as it used to be. What I'm thinking, what if they brought in Chris Benoit, the Hardy Boys, and Kane over to ECW? Do you think that would help to improve the show?
Let me ask you this question real quick. When you say bring them over, does that mean bring them over for a couple weeks while they're still members of other shows, or bring them over and they become ECW talents but can still show up on Raw and
Totally. Came
SmackDown?
over as ECW talent.
I was trying to make a point there. I'm sorry.
No,
The fact that they keep showing up on everybody else's show.
Drop it.
I think it would be a good idea.
The question for you, the fan, is: do you want to see the old ECW? Yes or no?
I'm okay with it being not the old ECW. I just want it to be good. That's all I
Yeah,
want.
Thank you.
There you go.
That's not a lot to ask, believe you me. I think, making a Benoit move is great. What's Benoit doing, really? Look at him right now. They didn't even have a match announced yet for WrestleMania. Granted, we have a month away. He's the United States champion, but he's just sort of there. He's a former world champion, not only in WCW, but in WWE.
Even
he's
though
just
the
sort of floundering.
WCW one isn't recognized, but he's a champion.
Yeah, he should have went over rather than Lashley. I mean, he should have went over before the Elimination Chamber match, and he should have went over in that. That would have been. I think that'd be a lot better because he's more. Obviously, he's old ECW guy. He would have been much better if he went over and became champion there.
I agree.
I agree.
So, do you think if they brought over those guys, do you think the show would improve? Do you think?
I certainly think so. I think that that's a great pick of talent to do that with. But what needs to happen with ECW, in my opinion, is ECW needs to remain as distinctly different as it can from Raw and or SmackDown. What I mean by that is you want to use that as your farm camp on TV to build new stars. And I think that they're doing that with Bobby Lashley, who gets a lot more of a pop from the audience than he should, in my opinion. But you've got your CM Punks over there. You've got
No.
Matt Stryker over there who's doing good. You've got Elijah Burke. They're building talent. So while a lot of people say this ECW thing ain't working, maybe it is.
It's taking its
Yeah.
time.
I don't know. Bring guys like Test. I don't know about that.
Well, Test no longer has
He
a
failed.
job. Yeah.
Yeah, Test failed.
Just aren't over with the fans. I don't know. It seems like they keep on throwing guys that nobody cares about over there.
Yeah. And then expecting you to care about them from week 1,
Yeah.
which won't happen. Well, hey, thanks for your call, dude.
All right. Thanks for talking to me, guys.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
It's good, folks. Actually, you can call into this very program as well. That's how they say it across the pond, program. Program. You will find the information on pwrshow.com on Wednesdays. We tape the show on Wednesdays. You can call us live during this live-to-tape taping on Wednesday nights. And
Just
be
like our
on
gentleman from
Idaho.
Idaho.
I didn't even know we were reaching Idaho.
It was his own private.
Well,
Idaho.
understand that the satellite beam does have to get to Nome, and in between, some
And
people
Topeka?
and some people. Well,
It might start
Topeka's-
costing us money if we're beaming Idaho.
Yeah, I beamed once something all the way to Montana.
Carry on, Frank, as you were.
Mike C. from Quincy, Massachusetts writes, I have a quick question which has had me wondering the past few weeks. He's wondering.
Things that make you go, who knows what that's from?
Unfortunately, you and I do, and that shows how lame we are. Frank, go.
Eddie Guerrero died,
Yeah, I heard.
and he
In case you
was
hadn't
in-
heard, yeah.
and he was in the Wrestling Hall of Fame within months of his death.
3.
But Owen Hart, years ago, died,
98.
I guess, and has not been even nominated. Is there a reason behind this?
My opinion, the Owen Hart death was, in many people's eyes, WWE's fault. I'm not saying that's the case.
In many people's eyes. We need to
There was a
restate
lot
that.
of drama surrounding that. I don't think they
Negative
wanted. I think they
drama.
wanted to get away from that as fast as they can, as opposed to sensationalizing Eddie Guerrero's death, which is what they did.
And milk it for everything they could. Basically piss all over his
What was
name.
Vicky's big announcement on SmackDown last week?
Exactly.
Nothing.
As you were, Frank.
That she's losing some of the fat on her arms? I don't know. I'm sorry. That was wrong. It's more like cellulite.
Jeff from Fort Worth, Texas.
Everything's bigger
Hey.
down there.
I like the Dallas Stars. Mike McDonald.
I'm really glad you guys have been touching on the various MMA pro wrestling news connections as of late. I grew up watching professional wrestling, and it was actually my gateway into MMA in the mid-'90s with guys like Ken Shamrock and Dan Severn.
Dan Severn.
And Severn, wow.
The Beast,
Yeah.
participating in the WWE. Talks a little bit about more MMA, but he brings these questions. 1. Do you think a Brock Lesnar or Kurt Angle in a big American MMA promotion like the UFC would make the average wrestling fan interested enough to throw down $40 on a pay-per-view?
I think that Brock Lesnar is a lot more important in the UFC than he would be in TNA. Because what that does is create that link between the UFC and professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
2.
Yes! Ha ha!
Do you think, from a business standpoint...
Meathead doesn't think, no.
that-
Go on.
That's
there's more.
Meathead. I'm Meathead Classic.
like Coke Classics.
Stop it!
Do you think, from a business standpoint, that the UFC would see a significant return in terms of new fans and pay-per-view purchases from wrestling fans who are unfamiliar with MMA in relation to what they spend on offering contracts to these guys?
Money spent on talent and name to gain new viewers over money earned after they've spent it. Do you think it would be a great business deal?
Mike Tyson paid off. Lawrence Taylor paid off. Donald Trump will pay off.
Definitely. You saw
A
the
lot of
ratings-
others
saw the
did not
ratings
pay
on
off.
Like
Butterbean.
Cindy Margolis.
Butterbean.
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
I don't know how much they had to invest in him, though.
not much.
I'm trying to think of some other bombs, and there's been many, but they're so small that you don't really think.
Oh, David Arquette.
I'm talking about
That's a
WWE.
bomb.
No, that wasn't a bomb. The man didn't even want to be heavyweight champion. He was told he had to be to promote the movie.
Again with the violin.
Killing.
Do we have more questions?
Lastly, would Damian Frank or Meathead be inclined to purchase an MMA pay-per-view featuring a big-name wrestling star?
Well, we know you wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't. I'd find some Italian cousins and
Somehow or another, Frank would be getting it for free.
Damien wouldn't be able to do it because Damien's never around for that because he already has a pack schedule as it is, and I probably would only because I get half-price pay-per-views.
Does that make you high or low-falutin? I don't know.
Hot food. Meathead Classic, by the way.
This email's from Tom,
From
from hopefully the Northern Hemisphere.
Bemidji, Minnesota. Now that's your default location. If you don't say where you're from in these electronic mails, you're from Bemidji, Minnesota.
our fan base
Funnily
is growing
enough,
there.
just last week I used that joke on somebody. Where are you from? Bemidji, Minnesota. I said, Bemidji? He's like, yeah. I met someone
Holy
from Bemidji.
cow.
It's awesome.
Or he just milked you along and
No. He had a little name tag on because it was at a trade show and it said Bemidji, Minnesota.
Wow. Hey now.
Figure that I can guarantee I know who the special guest referee is at WrestleMania, just as I
I went out and I bought my competition.
just as I knew who the opponent was going to be back last Wednesday. The reason I know is that a certain television station messed up, and they were talking about the whole match because of Donald Trump.
The
And
Donald.
they either accidentally showed everyone or what, but they were showing the photo shoot that they would do for every pay-per-view, and Umaga was there, Bobby Lashley, and as special guest referee, no other than Stone Cold Steve Austin.
What?
I figured you guys can know I figured you can know that, and you can take that to the bank. Enjoy the show where I can find it on TV.
We scooped that
Last week.
last week.
Yes, we did.
That's okay.
Stephen Campbell from Lake Orion, Michigan.
Is that Lake Huron? Oh.
Mike Ryan.
Is that in the UP, you think? The Upper Peninsula?
Possibly.
The mispronunciation on this show is just
Upper
catastrophic.
Peninsula. That's how you say it.
Peninsula.
Peninsula.
There's another N in there. We say peninsula.
You're an idiot. Go.
I say
I'm a Rhodes Scholar.
Hello, Damien.
Hi.
I watch your show on a weekly basis and find it a great mix of info and fun.
Not
Who's
not
info
what we
and
had
who's
to.
fun?
I'm info. He's fired. Remember, you're not even working with a contract here. I forgot. A couple weeks ago, your contract was up. What the hell are you doing here?
I was born on fun.
We get here, and this one's sitting outside. Wrapped up in newspapers in a refrigerator box.
But having the
Waiting
best
for the
time.
thing.
It's got a 360 in there. 360 view of
And
everything
an
around
upstairs,
me.
a microwave box. The attic.
It's a duplex. Well, moving on up.
Wow.
I have a story that I thought you might find amusing.
Wrote a song about it. Like
Back
that.
here?
Here it go.
Said the governor don't like no drug program. Been a dope man for 30 years.
I am a white teenager in a high school in Metro Detroit area.
Outstanding.
My high school is probably 95% white. And being Black History Month today, they decided to pay
Wait a minute. Did you just hear that?
This was sent a couple of days ago.
No.
Being
Black History Month today. The whole month happened in one
the
day.
day he sent
Okay.
it. Why are you picking on him because he was white?
Because those brothers don't like that.
They decided to pay homage to the black community by doing things at lunch, like playing music composed by blacks. Here's what gets interesting, and I
Black
swear
composed
to
music or
God,
rap it?
it's true. In the lunch line for today, it said, and I quote, Black History Month lunch, fried chicken, $3. It was absolutely hilarious. Now here's my
We
question.
need one of those little stands for cars like Jay Leno has when stuff like this happens.
Take a look at a picture here.
Who's got a bigger chin, him or Slaughter?
Oh, Leno.
Slaughter's just out there, dude.
Leno.
All right, carry on, Frank. Sorry to interrupt you.
Who is your favorite black wrestler? Or which black wrestler do you feel made a great significant impact when blacks were not shown as prominently in wrestling?
That's
Tony
easy.
Atlas or Ron Simmons?
Ron
perhaps?
Simmons. Because he got elevated. Only because, and we know why he got elevated, but he got elevated to WCW Heavyweight Champion.
Long after the big cat Ernie Ladd was around and doing big
Right.
business in WWE.
He was doing great business.
Now in
too.
the Midwest, because if you want to go back a little bit further, Bobo Brazil.
Yeah.
And now this is 60s and 70s, but in Chicago and in the Midwest, he was
at the
it.
Marigold Arena in Chicago.
Yeah.
And by the way, my favorite had to be Somebody Call My Mama. Somebody Call My Mama.
With what was it?
I'm the
Darnell
greatest.
Tyrone. What was his handler's name?
Yeah, I think it was his chauffeur. You know, I actually
It's
called.
not a bad deal for fried chicken.
Yeah, I actually called 1-800 Catbo
Did you order Nature Boy Buddy Buddy Landell's weight loss plan either?
I'm on my own.
That was almost like the Hummer angle, where those vignettes would just show up.
Never explained.
Yeah.
It was a black Hummer.
Devin Drover from Spaniards Bay.
Wordy driver. All right.
From Spaniards Bay,
Here, I'll help you.
Newfoundland, Canada.
Ooh, the Great White
Back
North.
here.
Okay.
Frank's got this. All right. I'll be touching his stuff here.
It's the best
All right.
wrestling minds since the genius Lanny Poffo.
Leapin' Lenny.
Lanny, Mr. Pronunciation.
I have a
It
poem.
was Lenny.
Lanny, Lanny, you jackass.
I see what it's
Lanny,
on there.
Leapin' Lanny Poffo, brother of, son of.
Oh yeah.
Son of?
I don't remember.
A beach? I have a problem, and I need your
I love
help.
that show. Go.
I'm a wrestling addict, and I need help with a
What?
serious problem. You okay? That problem is that for the first time since WrestleMania...
We have a caller.
No,
We
that's
had
been
one.
on there.
Go ahead. First time since
Was it green?
WrestleMania.
No.
First.
The problem is that for the first time since WrestleMania 3, I will miss a WrestleMania. Yes, WrestleMania, and the reasons are simple. With the exception of the Money of the Bank match, the next most interesting match is Kane versus Khali. Seriously, Khali in a match that is the one of the more interesting ones there are for WrestleMania. Can I justify paying just under $50 plus tax
Find a place to go to and watch it.
to see a women's title match without Mickie James? Can I look at my friends in the eye and say I have a question for both you guys.
I think that's a different email. We can certainly, there's enough addressable points from
Yes.
from
We justify paying
from
about
this
$50 for WrestleMania.
You know, I agree. Mickie James should be on the card. She's a great professional wrestler. Also, I don't know where the joy is in the Kane-Khali feud. Kane and Khali, I appreciate the intensity of Kane on Raw this past Monday, coming out and really amplifying that angle between the two of them. But I don't know. Khali, I mean, he's just in WrestleMania because he's a freak.
Yeah. Frank wanted to
I mean,
finish
to put it
reading that
nicely.
Yeah,
email.
and actually it's different.
Can I justify telling my friends to?
to come over and watch Umaga versus Black Lesnar. More
I'm
importantly,
so glad that caught on.
can I look myself in the mirror after watching the new breed beat the ECW originals and the most extreme guys and someone with a pink Viking hat? Can my mom be right all these years when she said I'm wasting my time watching this mindless rot? Please, can you reassure me that I'm wrong and WrestleMania will be the WrestleMania and not the big April Fool's Day to remember like I hopefully think it would be? And I said this. This is from George C. from Parts Unknown, South San Francisco Bay Area, California.
The people to ask about whether or not this will be a
Not
bad
back
WrestleMania based on the card is anybody who was at WrestleMania 11. Because that was by and far the worst WrestleMania out there, period. But, you know, WrestleMania is on TV. Probably could be less than spectacular, but live, it's never going to be a bad show.
I've said this many times in the past. What makes WrestleMania not only the matches, but there's some celebrity input at some point.
Timbaland, allegedly. He sings.
Yes. Well, in this case, it's
Timberlake.
No,
It's-
Lend.
You're gonna let Timbaland sing?
I believe that's one of the rumored performers.
Oh.
and this year
He
it's
doesn't sing, he mixes. Frank, I'm sorry.
That's
Damien
okay.
keeps interrupting me.
this year it's Donald Trump who's adding the celebrity spin to it, and the ratings proved it on last Monday's Raw, the best
Record.
of the year for
Since
2007.
2016, 2006.
And the advertisers love that number. So, to me, WrestleMania should always have that just little hint of some.
That's Pete Rose! Pete Rose just got tombstoned!
Who's in the Hall of Fame, by the way?
He is in the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame.
It's the only one.
This is from
They're still
Devin.
building the wing.
I know.
This email is from Devin Drover from Spaniards Bay, Newfoundland, Canada. I have a question for both you guys for PWR Interactive. What do you think of TNA's matches from the last Impact? which were the 5-man ladder match, lumberjack strap match between Team 3D and LAX, and the VKM Lance Hoyt versus Eric Young, Bobby Roode, and James Storm.
It's a good match. I mean, it was fun. It was exciting, but it's
It
same
still
old, same
seems
old.
like it's too much. You're just
It's
throwing...
an adrenaline rush, Meathead.
And I got to get that song, by the way, once I have a computer that works. It just seems like it's too much. They just throw all the stuff at you. 60 minutes. It's not the adrenaline. It's not fast. Just everybody's just crammed.
It's so fast it makes Don West sweat.
I swear to God, it's like throwing 50 pounds of garbage in a 10-pound bag.
It's like Don West's shirt. Actually, his shirts are too big.
And they're just too not where they're supposed to be.
Not good.
And next to TNA, who wears the same tuxedo every week.
Well,
It's
but
rented.
think of, Monsoon and Heenan. Think of McMahon Ventura. Think of
I understand.
J.R. King, Cole.
Mix it up a little.
What do you want, like Mark Madsen in a Hawaiian shirt?
Mark Madden, by the way, get it right.
Madsen. Hawaiian shirt from like today?
No, I want him
You
to
said
wear.
mix them up.
I want him to wear a business polo. I want him. I
It
don't.
says TNA on it.
Yeah,
So it's shop deals at TNA shop.
Today I can get you a polo if you're watching.
yeah, because Frank steals out of the closet.
I think what
Just
happened, here's
kidding.
what happened. I think he got Vince's old tux, did Mike today. I don't know if Vince was able to release the red bow
Either that
tie,
or
but-
Pinzer just coughed up all his tuxes that Jericho used to buy him all the time.
You notice how they don't even show Pinzer on TV?
Thank you.
Yeah, he's very annoying.
The only
by
time
way.
I
He
could-
wasn't annoying in WCW because he was different. Now he's WCW Pinzer in TNA.
Yeah.
We don't need to hear that it's Impact with every ring announcement. We know. We don't need to hear it's TNA on Thursday nights with every ring announcement. We know.
And now it's time for your main event of the evening. Even
On
though they,
TNA Impact.
yeah, they hear that before. There's a lot of redundancy in that. Just killing me.
Cedric from Riverdale, Georgia. Hey guys, what's up? Gotta love the show. Hope you keep having great success. I wanted to know this. Now that I've been a fan of wrestling for a while, like since 5 years old, and yes, I am also one of Jeff Hardy's many followers. Great to see him back, but pretty disappointed in the fact that it's the same him. You gotta say, Jeff pretty much hasn't changed since his departure, except for weight, and now he's really, crickets playing on promos, ever talks. I wonder, like back then, he was being called the new Shawn Michaels,
Next. Oh, I'm sorry.
or the
They were
one to
calling him the
replace
next
him.
Shawn Michaels.
Or
It's like
at
they were
least,
calling Matt Jannetty.
yeah, or at least was the better of the two Hardys. Do you guys feel he's still at that point? And if not, what does Jeff need to do to improve?
They're just
on?
milking Jeff for his work rate right now.
Well, Jeff's a good wrestler. Jeff Hardy's a good wrestler. Is Jeff Hardy as good a wrestler as Shawn Michaels now? No. Was Jeff Hardy potentially going to be as good a wrestler as Shawn Michaels is? Yes. So Jeff isn't bad. Jeff has a completely different style than Shawn Michaels, who could wrestle a match and deliver the spots. And Jeff Hardy,
Cut a promo.
There you go. There's
Jeff Hardy
the
can
key.
wrestle, but he ain't going to be carrying Batista in a match.
Hardy can wrestle just as good as Michaels can. The thing is charisma and cutting a promo. I think they're at the time, if you compare where they are in ages, Shawn Michaels and Hardy have basically that they could do just about the same things if they wanted to. Give Hardy a super kick, he could probably do the same thing. The difference is Mike's skills. He has none, and that will not elevate him at all.
You know, it was 15 years ago where he threw Marty Jannetty through the plate last Monday?
Yeah, they let you know this week in history.
Yeah.
They let you know on Raw.
15 years ago. I was watching WrestleMania 5 the other day. That's like almost 20 years ago. It's amazing. It's amazing.
This next email is from a guy named Charlie. Just wanted to know what you guys think about the WWE possibly inducting the original Sheik into the Hall of Fame this year. Not only can he be credited for training his nephew Sabu, but RVD and the Steiners as well. He also pioneered hardcore wrestling and brought it to the United States, even using a pencil or railroad spike as a weapon. You'd think the WWE will put the Sheik in the Hall of Fame. I think so.
I think they only put people in the Hall of Fame to work an angle out of something, either make money out of it or... Because remember, it's WWE's Hall of Fame. It's not the real wrestling Hall of Fame.
No, they are putting Kurt
Well,
Hennig in.
There's Cauliflower Alley, which is out of Vegas, where they induct people into that each year, and that's really the true, not Hall of Fame, but true recognizing body of professional wrestling overall. It's not affiliated with any organization, and they do that, as I said, out in Vegas. I would disagree that the WWE Hall of Fame is is a money making venture, because after the show and after the induction, there's really not much said about it or done. I mean, it's on the WrestleMania DVD or what have you, but
They could still use now coming to the ring. Hall of Fame inductee Jerry the King. I mean, you can just
we'd have
another
never seen Bret
tag.
Hart on a WWE television again if it wasn't for the Hall of Fame. So perhaps there is some validity to that statement.
Andy in Birmingham, UK. Is it me?
Birmingham.
Birmingham, UK. Is it me, or does it seem as if TNA is trying too hard to cram all of its talent into 1 hour
We
show?
just went into that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we just sorry. We're not going to read the whole thing, but yeah,
Rumor
we
has
just
it they're
went
going to be expanding to 2 hours in the future, and thank God for that day. Now, do they need to be 3 hours like Nitro was?
Down.
And finally, from Will Lloyd to Damien. You said a couple of weeks ago that you liked SmackDown because of JBL.
He is a commentary god.
What were you thinking? JBL is the only reason I don't like SmackDown as much as Raw. I cannot stand to listen to him yak and yak. You're nuts, but I love your show. Will Lloyd.
That is the reason I like and respect JBL, because he is a heel color commentator. You're supposed to hate him.
Lost art.
You're supposed to have a passionate
it's a
feeling
lost
about
art,
him.
isn't it?
And if you don't have a feeling about him, if you think Jerry Lawler's just sitting there, if you think Taz is just sitting there, don't care either way, they're not succeeding in what they should be doing. JBL is succeeding in what he should be doing, which is pissing you off. Thank
Sorry.
you for telling me I'm right and not so many words.
Then I'll take my name back. Way to wrap up the evening. By the way, it all worked itself out.
Wow,
there.
this you need some stability here in this table. And I think Frank was wrapping it up.
That was PWR Interactive for this week.
Somebody call Mama!
I believe we are off next week.
Yay, affirmative, master.
But 2 weeks from now, just keep sending in your emails. Of course, we will try and get to as many as possible on the air as time allows.
And we're still on the road to WrestleMania.
But we do read each and every email that comes through. We appreciate everything from each of you that join the message board, send us your emails, and make this show possible. With that,
10,000 new viewers in February.
Outstanding.
10,000 new viewers in February.
Thank you.
6,000 new viewers in January. So the growth continues. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We'll see you
We're
next
still
time
growing
right here
right
on the
now.
Pro Wrestling Report.
Wow.